The sky over New Stalingrad colony burned with alien fire. Massive Zorgak battleships hung like dark metal mountains against the pale blue atmosphere, their weapon systems charging with deadly precision. Commander Park Jae-hwa watched from the primary defense platform, her hands gripping the control panel with a tension that spoke of years of military training. The colony below looked peaceful from this height, scattered settlements, agricultural domes, and industrial complexes that represented humanity's furthest reach into deep space. But today, everything would change. The Zorgak invasion had been predicted, but no simulation could prepare them for the real moment of confrontation. Kim Dong-woo, her tactical officer, broke the silence. "Commander, enemy ships are entering attack range. Preliminary scans show over 200 combat vessels." Jae-hwa's eyes narrowed. The odds were impossible. 200 against their mere 30 defensive ships. Basic mathematics suggested total defeat, but mathematics didn't understand human determination. "Activate quantum disruption shields," she commanded. Her voice was calm, almost mechanical, but her heart raced beneath her military uniform. The first wave of Zorgak ships moved with terrifying precision. Their technology was generations ahead of human capabilities. Energy weapons that could slice through solid matter, quantum targeting, systems that never missed, regenerative hull plating that could absorb massive damage. Humanity's only advantage was unpredictability. As the first energy beams sliced through space, Jae-hwa implemented a strategy that would later be studied in military academies across human colonies. Instead of traditional defensive formations, she ordered her ships to move in chaotic, seemingly random patterns. "Scatter and confuse," she whispered, more to herself than to her crew. The alien weapons, designed for precise targeting, suddenly found themselves struggling to lock onto the rapidly moving human vessels. Each human ship became a ghost, dancing between energy beams that should have obliterated them instantly. Dongwoo's screens erupted with data. First wave casualties: Zorgak, 18 ships; humans, 3 ships. For the first time that day, Jae-hwa allowed herself a small smile. They were surviving, not just defending, but actually fighting back. The colony's ground defenses activated. Massive electromagnetic cannons emerged from hidden underground positions, their barrels glowing with concentrated energy. These were weapons developed from desperate research, cobbled together from reverse-engineered alien technology and human innovation. Each cannon fired not as a single shot, but as a complex wave of disruption that could temporarily disable alien shield systems. It was a weapon born from desperation and human ingenuity. 3 more Zorgak ships exploded, their hulls rupturing in silent space explosions. The aliens had never encountered such unpredictable resistance. "They're adapting," Dongwoo warned, recalibrating their targeting systems. Jae-hwa knew they had only moments before the Zorgak found a counter-strategy. Human survival depended on constant movement, constant change. "Prepare quantum jump sequences," she ordered. "We'll hit them where they least expect." The defense platform itself began to move, a massive structure transforming into a weapon of mobility. Underground tunnels and advanced gravitational systems allowed the entire platform to shift position in seconds, something no traditional space station could achieve. More ships fell. The space around New Stalingrad became a graveyard of alien metal drifting silently against the backdrop of stars. Hours passed. What seemed like an inevitable invasion turned into humanity's first real victory against the Zorgak. Not through superior technology, but through something the aliens could never understand: pure, stubborn human adaptability. As the last Zorgak ships retreated, Commander Park Jae-hwa realized they had done more than defend a colony. They had sent a message to an entire alien civilization. Humanity would not go quietly into extinction. The colony's survival became a symbol, a beacon of hope for every human settlement facing the growing alien threat. One battle might not win a war, but it could change everything. Dongwoo's final report was simple and devastating for the Zorgak. Enemy retreat confirmed. Colony secured. Jae-hwa looked out at the scarred space around them, knowing this was just the beginning. The real war was just starting, and humanity was ready. The research facility looked like any other government building, gray, rectangular, seemingly ordinary. But inside, something extraordinary was happening. Lee Sung-min stood before a collection of captured Zorgak technology, his fingers moving carefully across holographic displays that flickered with alien light. Around him, teams of scientists worked in controlled chaos. Some analyzed energy signatures, others studied complex quantum circuits that seemed to defy human understanding. Each piece of alien equipment was a puzzle waiting to be solved. Sung-min's specialty was communication, networks. The Zorgak's technological superiority had always been their greatest weapon. Their neural communication systems allowed instant coordination between ships, a level of synchronization humans could only dream about. But today, that would change. He picked up a small fragment of an alien communication device. To an untrained eye, it looked like a strange metal crystal. To Sung-min, it was a key to humanity's survival. "Professor," called his assistant Sarah Kim, "we've got something interesting." On the main screen, complex data streams began to dance. Sung-min recognized patterns, communication protocols that the Zorgak believed were unbreakable. But humans had always been good at breaking things. The facility was a mix of military precision and scientific creativity. Soldiers walked alongside researchers. Engineers collaborated with quantum physicists. Everyone understood the stakes. This wasn't just research. This was humanity's fight for survival. Weeks of work condensed into a single breakthrough. Sung-min discovered a fundamental weakness in the Zorgak communication system. Their neural networks, while advanced, had a critical flaw. They relied on absolute predictability. Humans, by contrast, were beautifully unpredictable. "We can create a virus," Sung-min explained to the military council. "Not a computer virus. A quantum communication disruption that will make their entire network collapse." The military leaders listened carefully. These were not politicians or bureaucrats, but battle-hardened veterans who had seen humanity's near extinction during the first Zorgak attacks. Their response was simple: make it work. In another part of the facility, combat AI systems were being developed. Traditional robots were replaced by hybrid systems that could learn, adapt, and make complex decisions in microseconds. These were not just machines. They were extensions of human strategy. One test simulation showed a single human AI combat unit taking down 3 Zorgak battle drones. The AI didn't just follow programmed instructions. It anticipated, it predicted, it outsmarted. Sung-min's communication virus was integrated into these AI systems. Now they could not only fight, but could also disrupt enemy communication in real time. The first field test happened on a small research outpost near Jupiter's orbit. A team of hybrid human AI units were sent to test the new technology against a small Zorgak patrol. The results were beyond anyone's expectations. The human AI units moved like liquid metal, changing tactics faster than the Zorgak could process. When the alien ships tried to communicate and coordinate, Sung-min's virus turned their neural networks into chaos. 3 Zorgak ships destroyed, 0 human casualties. News spread quickly through human colonies. This wasn't just a technological breakthrough. This was hope. Sung-min understood something profound. Humanity's greatest weapon was not technology. It was the ability to change, to adapt, to turn limitations into strengths. In the facility's main conference room, military leaders and scientists gathered. Sung-min presented his findings, showing how they could transform their defensive strategy into an offensive one. "We're not just surviving anymore," he said. "We're fighting back." The room fell silent. Everyone understood the significance of those words. Outside the facility, the vast darkness of space seemed to hold its breath. Somewhere out there, the Zorgak were preparing their next move. But for the first time, humanity was ready. Not with superior technology, but with something far more powerful: human creativity, human adaptability, the ability to turn the impossible into reality. The adaptive warfare had begun, and the Zorgak would never see it coming. The alien command ship hung in space like a massive metallic spider, its dark hull absorbing light, reflecting nothing. Commander Kang Hyejin watched from her stealth shuttle, her breathing controlled, her hands steady. This mission would change everything. Her team consisted of 6 elite special operations soldiers, each selected for their unique skills and psychological stability. They had trained for months studying every detail of Zorgak ship structures, communication protocols, and potential weaknesses. The shuttle's quantum camouflage system made them invisible to standard alien detection methods, a technology developed by Lee Sung-min's research team. It was humanity's secret weapon. "Boarding point confirmed," whispered Park Min-seo, the team's technical specialist. His fingers danced across a holographic interface, identifying the precise entry point on the massive alien vessel. Hee-jin's eyes narrowed. The ship's central communication hub was their target. One successful strike could potentially collapse the entire Zorgak military communication network. Their entry was surgical. A tiny maintenance hatch, overlooked by standard security protocols, became their gateway. Magnetic boots allowed silent movement through zero-gravity corridors that twisted like alien arteries. The interior of the Zorgak ship was unlike anything humans had imagined. Organic metallic surfaces that seemed to breathe, corridors that shifted and changed, neural networks embedded directly into the ship's structure. "Movement detected," Min-seo whispered. His scanning device showed alien crew members moving in. Predictable patterns. Predictability was their weakness. Hee-jin's team moved like shadows, each step calculated, each movement precise. They were not just soldiers. They were human adaptability personified. The central communication hub was a massive chamber. Quantum data streams flowed like liquid light, connecting thousands of neural networks. It was the brain of the entire Zorgak military operation. "Prepare quantum disruptors," Hee-jin commanded. Their specially designed devices, created from reverse-engineered Zorgak technology, looked like simple metal cubes, but each contained a complex system capable of sending cascading communication failures through the entire alien network. Min-seo began the intrusion. His fingers moved faster than human eyes could follow, creating a virus that would spread like digital cancer through the alien systems. Suddenly, an alarm. Alien defenders detected their presence. "We have 3 minutes," Min-seo reported. The first alien defenders arrived. Massive biomechanical warriors, part machine, part living organism. Their weapons could slice through human armor in milliseconds. But Hyejin's team was prepared. Quantum shields activated. Adaptive combat algorithms engaged. Each team member became a living weapon, moving with precision that defied human limitations. 2 alien defenders fell. Then 3. Their advanced technology suddenly seemed fragile against human unpredictability. "Virus deployed," Min-seo announced. The communication hub began to collapse. Quantum streams turned from organized light to chaotic darkness. Across hundreds of star systems, Zorgak military units would suddenly find themselves blind, disconnected, vulnerable. The psychological impact would be devastating. As they prepared to escape, Hyejin understood they had done more than complete a mission. They had struck at the very heart of the alien military structure. Their shuttle escaped moments before the ship's self-destruction sequence activated. Behind them, the massive alien vessel became a burning monument to human ingenuity. Mission complete. Back at human headquarters, the team's data would be analyzed, studied, transformed into new strategies. Each mission was a learning opportunity, each battle a chance to evolve. The Zorgak had believed humans were primitive, predictable, easy to defeat. They were wrong. Hyejin looked out at the stars, knowing this was more than a battle. This was a turning point in humanity's fight for survival, and they were just getting started. Massive human fleet formations surrounded the planet, their weapons charged with years of technological advancement and human determination. Lee Sung-min watched from the central command ship, his fingers moving across holographic displays that showed the complex battle strategy. This was humanity's final move. Thousands of ships filled the space around the alien planet. hybrid human AI, combat units moved with a precision that would have been impossible just years earlier. Each vessel carried the hopes of every human colony, every settlement that had suffered under the Zorgak invasion. Quantum disruption networks activated, reported the tactical officer. The first wave of attacks began. Unlike previous battles, this was not just a defensive maneuver. This was total war, the kind of conflict that would determine the future of two civilizations. Zorgak defense systems, once considered invincible, began to collapse. The communication networks that had been their greatest strength now became their ultimate weakness. Years of research by scientists like Sung Min had prepared for this moment. Alien ships exploded in silent bursts of light. Their advanced technology crumbled against human adaptability. On the planet's surface, ground forces prepared for the final assault. Massive dropships carried hybrid combat units, part human, part advanced AI, totally unpredictable. They were the perfect weapon against a rigid alien military structure. Sung Min remembered the early days, the first attacks, the near extinction of humanity, the countless colonies lost, the fear that had driven their entire species to the brink of destruction. Now, they were winning. Primary communication hub targeted, announced the ship's AI system. Quantum, weapons unlike anything the Zorgak had ever seen, began their assault. Each strike was a complex dance of energy and information, designed to not just destroy, but to completely disrupt the alien military's ability to coordinate. The Zorgak home. World's defenses began to fail. Massive energy shields collapsed. Communication networks turned to digital chaos. Vorax Prime is requesting communication, a communication officer reported. The Zorgak Supreme Leader's hologram appeared. A creature of metal and biological matter, something between a machine and a living being. Its voice carried thousands of years of galactic dominance. Humans, it spoke, you cannot understand the balance we maintain. Sung Min's response was simple. We understand survival. The final assault began. Hybrid combat units dropped onto the planet's surface. They moved like liquid metal, changing tactics faster than the Zorgak could process. Each unit was a perfect blend of human creativity and artificial intelligence. Cities fell. Military bases collapsed. The once mighty Zorgak civilization crumbled under human determination. Hours turned into days. The battle was not just about destruction. It was about proving humanity's right to exist, to thrive, to become more than just survivors. On the command ship, Sung Min watched the final moments of the conflict, not with anger, not with revenge, but with a calm understanding of what they had achieved. The Zorgak's rigid structure became their ultimate weakness. Humanity's ability to adapt, to change, to grow, that was their true strength. As the last Zorgak defenses fell, a strange silence covered the planet. Millions of alien lives ended, but a new future began. War is concluded, the ship's AI announced. Sung Min looked out at the burning planet. They had not just won a war, they had transformed the very nature of galactic conflict. Humanity was no longer just a species fighting for survival. They were now the architects of a new galactic order. The stars themselves seemed to pause, witnessing the moment when everything changed. Humanity had arrived. Admiral Park Jae-hwa stood on the bridge of the flagship Courage, her eyes tracking multiple star systems simultaneously. This was no longer about defense. This was humanity's offensive campaign against the Zorgak Imperium. Hundreds of human ships moved like a coordinated wave, each vessel carrying the hopes of colonies that had survived the initial invasion. Their movement was unlike any traditional military strategy. They were liquid, changing, adapting with every moment. Enemy formation detected in Sector 9, reported her tactical officer, Kim Dong-woo. Jae-hwa's strategy was simple, but revolutionary. Instead of direct confrontation, they would strike where the Zorgak least expected. Hit fast, disappear, reappear somewhere else. A constant, unpredictable assault that would slowly dismantle the alien military infrastructure. The hybrid human AI. Combat systems proved to be their greatest weapon. These were not just machines or soldiers. They were living strategies, capable of making split-second decisions that no traditional military could comprehend. 3 Zorgak defense platforms collapsed within minutes. Not through brute force, but through complex quantum disruption techniques developed by scientists like Lee Sung-min. Psychological warfare protocols activated, the ship's AI announced. Each attack was designed to not just destroy, but to create confusion, to make the Zorgak question their own military capabilities, to break their confidence system by system. HFY understood something fundamental. This wasn't just about winning battles. This was about dismantling an entire civilization's belief in their own superiority. Small human colonies that had been occupied for years began to revolt. Armed with new technologies, with hope restored, they struck from within. The Zorgak found themselves fighting on multiple fronts: external, human. Fleets and internal rebellions. Advance to Quantum Corridor, HFY commanded. The Quantum Corridor was a strategic pathway through multiple star systems, allowing rapid movement that defied traditional space travel limitations. Each jump was a mathematical miracle, a testament to human innovation. Alien communication networks began to collapse. The precise, rigid Zorgak system couldn't handle the chaotic human approach. Where Zorgak saw a straight line, humans saw infinite possibilities. Dongwu's screens showed expanding. Human territory. What was once a desperate defensive line was now an aggressive expansion. Weeks turned into months. Months into a systematic dismantling of the Zorgak military structure. Small victories became large campaigns. Occupied colonies were liberated. Alien outposts fell one by one. The human fleet moved like a living organism, changing, adapting, growing stronger with each encounter. "We're no longer fighting for survival," HFY told her crew. "We're fighting for our future." The psychological impact was devastating for the Zorgak. An enemy that refused to follow expected patterns. An opponent that could turn weakness into strength in milliseconds. Advanced Zorgak warships, once considered invincible, now looked like relics against human creativity. Each battle taught humanity something new. Each encounter made them stronger. Technological breakthroughs happened in real time. Captured Zorgak equipment was immediately studied, modified, turned into new weapons. The human research teams worked alongside military units, creating a perfect blend of scientific innovation and military strategy. By the time they reached the outer Zorgak territories, the aliens were no longer confident. Their once mighty empire was crumbling from within. "Prepare for system-wide assault," HFY ordered. The Long March was more than a military campaign. It was humanity's statement to the universe. We are not victims. We are not just survivors. We are conquerors. As the flagship Courage moved through another quantum corridor, HFY knew they were writing a new chapter in human history. Not just a story of war, but a story of transformation. The stars themselves seemed to watch, bearing witness to humanity's greatest journey. The Long March continued.